How can we identify the attacks on India, and what do you think will be the next major one?
I'll teach you how to identify them by yourself. But for that, you need to understand what is the master plan of our enemies. The problem in India is we don't have a culture of fighting distant nations. We don't have a culture of destabilizing nations. So we don't know how to throw hits. And if you don't know how to throw hits, you can only take them, receive them from very close. So you have to be in a very, very defensive mode. But if you know how these guys work, you can see the hits coming from far and protect yourself in a better way. What I can bring modestly on the table here is the experience I have in economic warfare, perception warfare, and psychological warfare, things I learned from abroad. So first, let's go to the basics. All countries have bad things and good things. USA, bad things, horrible, violent gang culture. Good things, they have the most innovative companies in the world. Japan, bad thing, horrible office culture. Good thing, the entertainment of the mangas. So when you're a big country, you have a pool, a bucket of bad things, you have a bucket of good things, and the good things can easily overshadow the bad things. In the discussions, they can compensate each other, even if at the end they have nothing in common. Same logic applies to India. We have a lot of bad things. Every time a foreigner comes to India, he will write on social media that the honking culture is horrible and the streets are full of garbage. They will post videos, and if you just record a video in India, you will hear the honking and see the garbage everywhere. And it's true. There is no point defending that. Please don't go on social media and fight them saying yes, but honking is to make the roads safer and that Indore and Mizoram are very clean. It's true, but there are exceptions, right? And India has also a lot of good things. And those are the ones we need to defend. Because the master plan of our enemy has a name. It's nothing good comes from India. Which means they are okay that India has bad things and they will thrive by themselves. But they don't want India to also have good things. Like that, no one can compare the bucket of bad things and the bucket of good things. So nothing good comes from India. And basically what they will do is use all our strength and try, like in wrestling, to use it against us. So if you want to attack India, you identify the good points and you attack them. Examples. We had a major issue that we addressed about toilets. We got attacked after the problem was resolved, not before. It was a series of attacks after the problem was resolved. I was mentioning that foreigners don't like honking and garbage, but they love Indian food. Indian food is very appreciated all over the world. So we got attacked by how Indian food is dirty and the hygiene standards are not there. More important, there was one thing beautiful that is written about India for the last 40 years. India is the largest democracy in the world. It's very nice. So we cannot, they don't want us to keep that, sentence. So they will attack that by saying, okay, India is a failed democracy. We got a lot of attacks about how India is a horrible, autocratic dictatorship. We made 2 videos on that recently. So every time someone will bring a narrative about how India is the largest democracy in the world, there is a counter-narrative ready. Those are current attacks. But to answer your question, what will be the next big hit? I was expecting this attack for a very long time, but I just got confirmations from my former students who are in foreign agencies that it's coming up. And so that's why I'm very happy to answer this question. What is incredible about us is the fact that India is a powerhouse of the world economy. And it's very difficult to attack. You can't deny that the main GDP growth in the world comes from India. So you can think and say, okay, maybe I can't attack that, but I can attack the fact that India has poor people. No, it's also difficult to attack. Why? Because if you look honestly, in the last 20 years, India uplifted hundreds of millions of people from poverty. The system is not perfect, but it is still a fair system. And everyone likes to use the definition of John Rawls, explaining that a system is fair if, when the system goes up, the poorest level of the population also goes up. And it's totally the case in India.
But how can you attack that?
There is one narrative loophole. You can use a big fancy word, inequality. For that, you just need to prove that when the system goes up, the rich people become richer faster than the poor people. And it is true in India. I'm not saying it's good, but it's normal. When you have a very, very fast growing economy, that's what happens. It's what happened also in China when they had their economic boom. So they can't attack the absolute growth of India. They can't attack the absolute growth of wealth of the poor people of India. So they will attack the relative rise of inequality between the poor and the rich. So the narrative we will face, the attack will be labeled something like India, the country where the inequalities rise the fastest in the world, something under this kind of terms. That's what will come to us. And I'm telling you, we are not ready to face this narrative.
But let's keep this thing in mind that nothing good comes from India.